thank you for that.
Uche is an IT professional who faces a dilemma when a colleague expects her to cover up for his remote work, which is against company policy. Work in the office is piling up, and Uche feels uneasy lying by omission in online meetings. Uche knows what she thinks is right, but how can she get it done? What should Uche say and to whom? What information does she need to gather? How should she frame her position to appeal to her audience? What objections and pushbacks can she anticipate? And how might she react to them persuasively?
Welcome to Giving Voice to Value Africa. Raise your hand if you ever felt the need to speak up but were afraid of what it meant to do so. Creating awareness of ethics without addressing how to speak up or act is inspirational but not enabling. Many values conflicts in the workplace are predictable, yet people don't feel empowered to act, they rationalize not speaking up, or simply are unsure of what to do in order to be effective.
The GVV Africa course brings together the Giving Voice to Values framework with real examples of values conflicts and creative and effective solutions shared by leaders, managers, and young professionals in Africa. The course is highly engaging and includes opportunities to reflect, connect and share with others, receive feedback, and participate in synchronous case facilitation sessions that help you build your moral muscle memory using scripting and role play. So far, GVV Africa has helped over 300 learners from 20 countries across the continent gain the competence and confidence to make that choice. Champion values-based leadership. GVV Africa.
Good afternoon, good day, good morning. Greetings from wherever you're tuning in from. A happy new year. I hope it's not too late to say that. A happy new year to you all. We are glad to be back again. And this is our first community of practice session for the year 2026. So, a happy new year to us all. And I am happy to see us all once again. I hope we had a great holiday season and that we look forward to acing the new business or academic year. I would kick off with saying that we have a lot of, we're trying to increase our Francophone Africa reach. So if we have any French speakers on, I'll just take us through a quick tutorial on how to access the French room. So when you look on the bottom pane of your Zoom, on the second to last icon, you see a globe and it reads interpretation. So you can kindly click on interpretation. Once you click on it, there'll be a pop-up. It says original audio, English or French. So you would choose French and then you would click on original audio so that there's a check mark next to it. That means that the original audio, which is English, would be off. And then you click on French. So you are able to hear all that is going on here in French. Our interpreter is on, Monsieur Harvey, and he would ensure that you also enjoy the session. So just one more time, on the bottom pane of your Zoom, you will see interpretation. It looks like a globe. So you click on that and then you tap on original audio. Ensure that the check mark shows. That means that the original audio is off. And then you can select French. And I hope that you enjoyed the session and I hope that was helpful and smooth for us all. So I'd like to hand over to our facilitator for today, who is Dr. Marilyn Ronald. And let me just mention that this session is hosted by the Careers and Employability Community of Practice at the Education Collaborative. So you all are kicking us off this year, and we look forward to a great year. Dr. Marilyn, you're welcome. Oh, I don't think we can hear her. Hi, Dr. Ronald. All right, Dr. Marilyn, I think we are struggling with hearing you, so I will just proceed while you get situated. So I'd like to know where we are all tuning in from. Kindly share your names, your institutions, and your countries in the chat box. I've seen a few people. Hi. Oh, I see a lot of French speakers. Bonjour à tous. So we have Jean Leonard from Rwanda Polytechnic. We have Hallelujah from Bowen University. Hi, Alex Murithi from University of Embu, that's in Kenya. Stellenbosch University, wow, that's amazing. We just completed our Southern Africa Hub convening. Right, so you're all welcome once again. And so we would like to now kick off our session. As I mentioned earlier, this is brought to you by the Careers and Employability Community of Practice. So we essentially work with one another. We really highlight shared learning, co-creation, collaboration to improve employability outcomes on the African continent. So that's one of the goals of the community of practice. So we have a great presentation by Dr. Ada Peter. I'm sure she would introduce herself, but she is a professor at Covenant University and also the co-founder of the Rebara Employability Infrastructure. She would take us through some of the gaps that are identified in curriculum in terms of preparing students for the job market, and then also navigating how institutions can beef up their curriculum to support students to come out and be career and industry ready. So Dr. Ada Peter, I'd like to hand over to you this afternoon, and you're welcome as well. Dr. Peter, please, you're muted.
Oh, hi everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Absolutely. Okay, so before I even say anything, please allow me to play this video. You're not going to hear everything. We're just going to stop at the second minute. Okay, but just listen a little bit about Ribara. Thank you.
Ribara, the future of employability. Every student dreams of a successful career, but the path to employability is often and increasingly unclear. Ribara is here to change that. With over 10,000 users and counting, Ribara is transforming the way students, educators, and industry experts connect to bridge the gap between education and employment. Meet Emmanuel Akinsanya, a university student navigating the overwhelming demands of preparing for life after graduation. Like many of his peers, he struggled to pinpoint the skills employers sought and how to acquire them. Then he discovered Ribara's job readiness tracker.
Ribara made everything clear. The tracker assessed my current skills and abilities and showed what I needed to improve on in order to get to my desired role. I'm a student in engineering and I feel like I already have an edge in the job market because of Ribara.
But it doesn't stop there. Emmanuel and other users are now learning directly from Ribara's industry experts who are guiding them to close the skill gaps identified by the tracker. These experts are equipping them with practical knowledge and tools, ensuring they're not just prepared, but ahead of the curve in their respective fields. At Covenant University, the university with the most employable graduates in Nigeria, Professor Humphrey Adebayo, the immediate past Vice-Chancellor, faced a challenge: how to ensure the institution's curriculum remained relevant in a rapidly evolving job market. Turning to Ribara's curricular intelligence, he found the solution.
Ribara has provided us with actionable insights. We have used this tool to analyze our curriculum analysis here at the university. We have been able to identify some of these gaps, and we have equally improved on our courses.
With curricular intelligence, Ribara is empowering institutions to bridge the gap between academia and the real world,
we're going
ensuring
to stop
education.
Here. Of course, when we meet one-on-one with various institutions, you can hear more about Ribara. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. My name is Dr. Peter. As Ajwa rightly mentioned, I am a co-founder of the Ribara Infrastructure. I'm also a member of management here at Covenant University. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm genuinely grateful for your time, for taking out the time to be here with us, especially because I believe that the fact that you joined this meeting today, it's a good indication that you are deeply invested in education. You're deeply invested in students, and also you're deeply invested in the future of work. Because come to think about it, why do students even subscribe to our various institutions? Actually, they come to us because they want to get work ready. They don't come to us just to bear the certificates, okay? So thank you so much for being very vested in education and vested in students and vested in the outcomes they get in the place of work. I'd like to start my presentation on a very personal note. Next slide. I'd like to start my presentation on a very personal note. In my 18 years of lecturing, researching, and working closely with students, and I believe some of us here who are also lecturers or have the opportunity to lecture, even as a student anyways, I noticed something very clear. There was just this disconnect between what we were teaching in the classroom and what the industry really wanted. That was so huge. The disconnect was very huge. And the most painful part is that students are the ones paying for this price. They're the ones paying the price. Usually they don't pay for it immediately. They do it quietly, they do it gradually, and often at times invisibly. Sometimes even the employers tend to pick up these bills along the way, where they have to retrain the students who just graduated. And for me, that was very worrisome. And so that was a question in my mind until I got to Harvard. But I'll speak to the Harvard research when I get to that level. Here's the other thing I think you want to take home. The fault is also not for universities. The challenge, Ajua, I think we might have someone using the screen who's not supposed to.
Hello, Dr. Ada.
Yes, please.
Hi, colleagues. Just a moment. Okay, I think we are sorted out now. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption and the distraction. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much. Pardon everyone again for that little disruption. So as I was saying, the fault of this challenge is not necessarily from universities, as you will acknowledge with me. It takes us about 3 to 5 years to update our curriculum. And these 3 to 5 years, as you know, is already behind schedule. So let's say things have changed in the industry 3 years ago. The university curriculum review takes about 2 to 3 years. So by the time we're reviewing, we're already 5 years behind. Not to now talk of now that we have the AI, changing and disrupting quite a bit. Universities were not in the first place, configured to be tracking changes. So it's a lot difficult for them to do. So it's not their fault at all. Even the regulatory agencies in our various countries that try to regulate what we teach to ensure the content is up to date, they also come very late. For example, in Nigeria, it takes them about 5 years to review. And even the 5th year, universities take time to implement. By the time you're implementing in the classroom, the world has gone further. So this is something that we notice. And candidly, you'll agree with me that what we have successfully done as institutions is to optimize credentials, okay? Meanwhile, what employers really want is to hire our graduates for task execution. So we go about, saying, I have a B.Eng in so so. That's not to say what they learn in the classroom doesn't help whilst they get in the industry. But the point is that getting into the industry, they are there to hit the ground running with tasks. And so if what we're teaching is so disconnected from those tasks, it's a huge disservice. And I will always say it anytime I'm making presentation, it's a huge disservice to students. The students sit in between these two lions, the institution on one hand and the employers looking for something else. And then the students are left without any signals. So what we have successfully done in the current system is that we are very good at producing certificates, but now, thanks to AI, we are getting increasingly weak in producing verifiable capability. So that when students graduate, we know they are struggling, but it's very easy for us to just say, well, they need to get better with career guidance, career advisors need to do better. Well, students should build confidence. If we don't say that, we say, well, go ahead and build your soft skills. But wait a minute. The truth is really very uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Employability is not a student problem. The failure of employability doesn't belong to the students. It actually is an infrastructure problem. It's an infrastructure problem. And so I would say that the current system has really failed us. It has failed us in different ways. Why do I say that? Let's be honest with ourselves. You will be honest with me. The current rankings that we have, they don't measure readiness, right? They don't measure readiness. They don't measure student readiness, career readiness. No, they don't do that. The accreditations that we all, revere, the accreditations also do not necessarily measure relevance, all right? Many institutions that are present here today, I believe we all have one learning management system or the other, LMS, module, name it. But here's the thing, module only manages your content, not your employability, right? Career services, when they then step in, it's already too late. You'll agree with me that you see career services is usually when they're at 400 level, or final year, as the case may be for engineering students, that's when they start, visiting career offices or advisors, and even when they visit their academic advisors within the campus, it's also a problem because all the advice they get is, oh, you have to take MCM 244, add 3 to this, without any consciousness of these students' aspiration. So I came into your university, I want to become a process engineer. You dumped me in chemical engineering and assume that everything you're teaching me will deal with my aspirations. No. So that's where, Ribara, sort of steps in. And so that led to the work at Harvard and at Covenant. And what happened there is that the research we conducted began to reveal many things that I will be sharing with us. The very first dangerous thing we noticed is that we think that career problems only show up at graduation, which is not the case. Career problems don't show up at graduation. Career problems actually start very simple, all right? It starts at the level of skills, courses, cohorts, and curriculum structure. How do I mean? Career failure has already started from that 100 level course that you're teaching that student, the 200 level course, the 300, the 400, the 500 level courses that you're teaching the student without taking into cognizance the skill set that this student requires, a personalized experience of where he or she aspires to get into. You're not taking into cognizance the skills it requires. You're not taking into cognizance how the courses you're offering should be able to offer these skill sets. You're not taking into cognizance within a full cohort, let's say the class of 2025, how many persons are aspiring towards this angle? How many persons are, so what's our course offering? What can we do to ensure that when they graduate, even before they graduate, employers can already begin to see through the employability IDs that these students are ready, for the job market. And the way the curriculum is structured is also something we need to cry about. So what I think is we need to intervene immediately. We don't need to allow this to keep happening. And like I will often hear in many engagements around the world, nobody's coming to save Africa. We have to save ourselves. And so we developed this solution. Much as, I've had engagement with embassies here in Nigeria, different embassies in Europe, in North America, and the feedback is, you think you built this for Africa? No, you didn't build this for Africa. We also need it in our country, but we don't want to lose focus. So the idea is that we need to intervene immediately to help our graduates, to help our students shift from the theoretical classes they are having, to something very useful, so that students don't see these things when it's too late, so that advisors can intervene very early, so that faculty members can know where their courses help and where they hurt readiness. Faculty members can quickly tell, my topic is not adding anything to where the students are headed, and can quickly update. And universities, vice chancellors can manage from their offices and can call on a dean to say, well, dean, I'm looking at your college and the program mechanical engineering or chemical engineering, the proficiency level for this skill set, which is a high requirement in the industry, looks like we're not attending to it enough. What can we do about it? Informed decision based on data. All right. And so the other thing also I need us to deal with here is to stop flying, blindly, just, on assumption that, we know the skills that are missing. If I ask us respectively here today, within your class of 2025, do you know what skills they are lacking? Do you know which courses will contribute to it? Do you know which programs you're drifting in? Do you know which aspirations you're not supporting? I don't think we have that data because we're not measuring it. And the point is that what you can't measure, you can't change. What you can't measure, you can't improve. What you can't measure, you can't transform. So it's a call to us to begin to track this thing more intentionally. The second thing we also need to understand is that career advising should not be reduced to polishing CVs, right? It shouldn't be, reduced to, course history reviews. Oh, you still have 2 units remaining. You still have 3 units remaining. Or reduced to interview tips. I know when we have career fairs, oh, this is how to show up. But how about the content of the person showing up? We're decorating the container on how to show up, but then the content is not ready for the job. Okay, so that's something we need to think about. Advising is not about CVs or interviews or history reviews. It's actually about capability. So that when a student shows up to say, I'm capable with Python or with my SQL, they are not just saying it. they can show it, they can prove it. There's an employability ID that bears that project, that shows what they can do. Okay, then finally, we also need to hear this. There's a problem that a lot of advisors have, and it's the problem of having several students to deal with at the same time. And so it looks like a Herculean task to be able to deal with. But the point is, with the Ribara system, one advisor can actually handle 1,000 students. Why? Because of the way the system is curated. Pardon me. So the idea is not for you to have students knock, 1,000 students knock on your door. That's overwhelming. And so you see the advisors are even overwhelmed. Some of them lock their doors. They don't want to show up because they're lecturing, their parents, they have a life. They need to attend to so many other things. And so with the Ribara system, one advisor can actually handle over 1,000 students. So from our research, the core insight we got, at Harvard and at Covenant is that employability is not an outcome, but it's actually a managed system. In case you're wondering about the infrastructure, let me just speak a little bit about the infrastructure. Ribara is actually not, it's not a platform. It's actually an infrastructure that's built on 4 principles. The first principle is that it is role first. So we think about the role first, not the course first, the role first. And we give every student, that personalized experience. This is where I am going. How well is my university supporting me? If it is not, what can I do to change that? The HOD is looking at the system and is saying, I see that 60% of the students in my current 300 level are aspiring towards becoming, data analysts. And the courses they are taking is not necessarily meeting those needs. What do we have to do is able to intervene on time. So it is role first, not course first. And then these are task-based, not just skills, but task-based connected to skills. And so when you get into a role, as many of us are today, if you ask me as a faculty member at Covenant, what are my core duties? I know my core duties and I know the skill sets I require to perform maximally and to be able to compete with my global peers, wherever they are, whether at Harvard or Stanford, wherever. And so with that knowledge, I'm able to stand tall wherever I go. I can fit into any environment, wherever I find myself. How much more can we do for our students if we give this kind of information to them? Okay, and then the way the infrastructure is also structured allows for institutional sovereignty. So the fact that we have, 10 institutions don't mean that, Covenant will see the Bell's information and then Bowen will see Ashesi's data. No. It's separated. It's a multi-tenant infrastructure. A multi-tenant infrastructure where every institution is standing on its own, even though everyone has access to the back end infrastructure that we have. So who exactly does Ribara connect? The way Ribara connects here is that it starts with the labor market. It actually starts with the labor market. So from the labor market, we feed your institution with what is currently prevailing. And I will show us when we start the live demo, how much, fields we've covered, how much industries we've covered, how many job roles we've covered. Maybe I should highlight right now, we've covered over 80,000 job roles, cut across 163 sub-industries, and of course covered about 40 fields, including all engineering fields, just name it, well, you will see in a bit. So Ribara connects your institution to labor market data, and quickly institutions can see where they fit. And this actually trickles into the faculties. Some might call it colleges. At Covenant, we call it colleges. And then within colleges, you might have programs. All right. So for example, in the College of Engineering, we have mechanical, chemical, petroleum, and what's not. And within electrical and information science, we have EEE, we have EIE, those are programs. So the data breaks down that way, capturing your students' need. And then once that is captured, your students can then begin to see how and where they belong and the skills they require, and then the tasks they need to start performing, and then the courses they need to take. So the courses they take is essentially informed by where they're headed, all right? And so what we measure after this, in case you're wondering, is we measure skill proficiency, skill gaps, proficiency gaps, role gaps, and curriculum contributions. I'll show us what those mean when I talk about the gap identification framework, okay? And so we have designed this in such a way that, curriculum is fragmented, from our experience, we've seen that curriculum is fragmented. The curriculum at Covenant is different from the curriculum at Ashesi, the curriculum at Bells, the curriculum at Bowen, the curriculum at some of our French institutions. So the way the system is designed right now is designed to accept fragmented data. All right. And then cost structures also differ widely. So it's also designed to accept whatever cost structure you're bringing on board. And then we also realize that the moment you feed your data into the system, the misalignment that was initially invisible becomes visible. What you used to gloss over and think you're doing well, you see that you're really not doing so well. And then students begin to understand their roles much, much more. Okay. And so what I would say at this point is that from our research, the lessons we've learned before we get into the platform is that we have designed for variation. We have designed to make the student the atomic unit of Ribara. And then we have designed it so that the tasks actually unlock clarity. And the system is not punitive in the sense that it doesn't actually punish you. Rather, it shows you the way to go and how to begin to improve yourself. Many of us hear many times, saying, you need to self-develop, you need to build capacity, you need to improve yourself. But these students don't even have clarity on what to do. Okay, improve myself in what? In how? All right. So this is part of what we learn. Next slide, please. Next slide. So with institutions that have onboarded Ribara, the slide before this, with institutions that have onboarded Ribara, these are the things they now begin to enjoy. They are seeing continuous curriculum review. I can tell you that for the next semester, we're already planning a curriculum review using Ribara. Career services have become very diagnostic, and the leadership our vice chancellor is providing is not just, from the blues, just, okay, I have an idea, or I went for a conference, they said this, okay, I think this is where everybody's going. No. It's with data, with information, with details, with insights, with evidence, okay? That's what you enjoy. When you make those changes, not necessarily to disrupt the regulatory changes, the ones stipulated by the agencies, no. But within your course, you're able to make adjustments. I know that many of us here who are lecturers, we do this when we're teaching without necessarily, disrupting a full syllabus. We know that, I think what they're learning right now is MATLAB at advanced level, not even basic. So you just use your own initiative. And these are for proactive lecturers. The ones that are not proactive, what they taught 5 years ago is what they will teach again and teach it again. And for the next 10 years, they keep repeating the same thing. That is a huge disservice. So, but with Ribara, it makes employability visible and also makes it very governable. Again, if I ask you right now about the class that will graduate this year at your institution, do you have the specific insights about the employability as per the aspirations? If you don't, then you actually need to embrace the Ribara infrastructure, because it gives you insight and helps you begin to make, corrections for the sets coming before them. All right. Next slide, please. So that as a learner at your university, the learner can see immediately where their degree will actually get them hired before they graduate, and know exactly what to fix whilst there's still time. Many of the persons who have used the system in their final year will often say, I wish I knew about this in my 200 level. I wish I knew about this in my 100 level, because then they have ample time to progress from basic, intermediate, advanced, and expert level in various skill sets, all right? And then for those who have graduated, if your school is onboarded, of course, you can decide to give your alumni access. Your graduates can begin to see the reason why, for those who have not been employed, why they are not getting hired. They can see that it's not about lack of talent. Rather, it's a small, invisible skill gap that they don't have. Next slide. Also, as a course instructor, when you're onboarded, you can prove using real market labor evidence that your course builds job-ready skills without rewriting your syllables. As a course advisor, you can spot employability risk across an entire cohort, because I believe advisors are assigned to a cohort. So within the cohort you're advising, you can see quickly that, in the first or second year, before the students graduate, there are some things we need to correct before they start panicking and struggling. Next slide. The head of departments also can see where exactly the curriculum he's running is over teaching, under preparing, or drifting from the industry. All right. without hiring, consultants that might take forever, or waiting for accreditation, reviews that take 3 to 4 years. This is like life, giving education a new energy, where you can quickly say that at my institution, we're truly churning out employable graduates. Okay, the dean can then align multiple departments within an institution. Let's see what the VC gets. For the vice chancellor, he can then demonstrate fully with live evidence that graduates from his institution are employable at scale. Before the rankings that don't even show you whether they're employable or not, or regulators, or, public start asking hard questions. I saw a post recently without necessarily trying to propagate an institution, but the post says that it appears students and graduates from Covenant seem to be taking all the jobs in the market. And when we press further, the thing is that many institutions, I think I shouldn't, let's leave that. But the point is that Covenant University students are super employable, and the feedback from the industry, not us saying this, the feedback from the industry is that they just scale many of the processes where others fall off. Why? Because they are fully prepared and ready for the job market. So you can demonstrate with evidence, that your graduates are employable. I know right now that without Ribara, advisors have, too many students, not enough time. Advising is more about CV reviews. There's no system currently linking courses to skills and jobs. Students graduate with certificates, but not verifiable mastery. Advisors are overwhelmed. At best, they are stuck guiding students on credit unit, like I mentioned earlier. And then, of course, they're trying to meet up with regulations. And at best, these regulations are very generic. They don't capture, the students' aspirations. And the deans, the HODs, the vice chancellors, deputy vice chancellors have no high level or detailed early warnings about, the employability of their graduates. I know right now you can't see proficiency gaps within your institution. Right now, you lack aggregated data. Right now, you have little or no insights into the dominant, aspirations of your students. And VCs cannot measure employability readiness. I don't think there's any VC who can say, oh, this is data. This is how I measure employability readiness. At best, what you have is 3-year reviews of your graduates who are coming, from the industry, telling you, okay, well, this is what we have and this is what we don't have. Why does this matter? Why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this because employers actually hire demonstrated competence, not certificates, not degrees without proof. Okay. And if we don't have signals, how do we show that? Okay. It matters also because students who don't see their skill gaps will pay for it, and they'll pay for it after graduation. They pay for it with rejections. They pay for it with underemployment. They pay for it with delayed careers because they keep struggling. Oh, I'm a graduate of, mechanical engineering, and you can't find a job because you can't demonstrate what the employer wants. Advisors are now expected to guide at scale when they don't even know what exactly they're supposed to guide on. So they limit it to CV reviews and then course units and what's not. And then, of course, it matters because universities face rising employability risk, not even with the advent of AI. So this is like lifeblood into the education system that would help institutions stand strong and still remain relevant in the job market. Next slide, please. So the one goal I have for us today is to show us how Ribara helps universities see career failure forming so that they don't have to wait until the job market shows them. Many of us assume, I think you just need to get the feedback from your graduates, really. They're struggling. They're struggling. You've handed them certificates, but they're struggling. They're really struggling to get into the job market. So my goal here today is to show us how Ribara helps you cite career failure. From 100 level, you can already see that with what we're teaching, I don't think we're preparing the students, and you can begin to take quick action to correct it. I think this is a huge service to our students. So if you're wondering, okay, Dr. Ada, you have said all of this, how do we get on board? How does this thing even work? So there are several levels of engagement, but the flow is simple. So when we onboard an institution after the MOUs and we have signed the document, we onboard an institution, there's a university administrator who assigns the roles and responsibilities to the vice chancellor, the heads of department, the students, the career advisors, everyone. Okay, the students set up their skills and their courses. Rebara, helps map those and then outputs their skill proficiency. The level advisor receives the student gap report, the cohort aspirations, and then begins to flag curriculum gaps using Rebara's recommendation. The advisor can send to the HOD that I think we need to do something about this, okay? And then from the HOD goes to the dean. The dean is also able to view program alignment, and the VC is able to see a wide employability dashboard, the strengths, the weaknesses, and can take informed decisions. He's the academic leader of any institution, okay? So when we talk about skill gaps, we're actually talking about which skills are missing and underdeveloped in a program. Pardon me, I keep using chemical engineering. So when you look when our system runs your chemical engineering program, you can quickly see the missing and the underdeveloped skills based on labor market data, right? And then you can make informed decisions about that. The system will also make recommendations to you. Then when we talk about proficiency gaps, okay, fantastic. There are skills you're actually offering, but these skills are insufficient in depth. What do we mean by that? The industry is expecting an advanced level proficiency. Your courses are offering basic to non-proficiency level. You're able to see that and see what you need to do to step up the proficiency level. It also shows you the role gaps within chemical engineering. It shows you the roles that your curriculum is not supporting right now. And so if within a cohort, you're having, 60% of your students aspiring towards a role that your curriculum is not even attending to, again, that is what I call huge disservice to students. And so at the end, with this onboarding, students get clear visibility into their career readiness. They see early warnings on skill gaps, and they have a way to prove competence. They can share with the employability IDs that they get when an institution is onboarded, just like when you share your LinkedIn handle. They share the employability ID, but what it shows is not just all of those. It shows proven competencies. Why? Because the system has a way of assessing the claimed competencies. We have on the platform a subjective assessment and an objective assessment. The subjective assessment is the one we're going to see today, but the objective one is for students to take. Next, the faculty members, the advisor will get ability to guide students, as you already know, and confidence that guidance is grounded in real data. For the faculty members, what do they get? Faculty members, yes, they see clear signals showing how courses translate to employability. They see that insights, into which skills are actually landing, and then they can get a stronger alignment with industry expectations. What of the HODs and the deans? Again, curriculum strengths, early detection, quickly, avoid few surprises and stronger outcomes. And finally, the vice chancellor. The vice chancellor is able to provide real leadership, real leadership, not, some assumed decisions. No. This is based on data. And he's the academic leader of the institution, all right? And why not? Employers then get happy because now they can get verified role-ready skills coming from students at your institutions and reduce the burden of, retraining students who come from your institutions. And what we get as higher education as a whole in Africa, maybe around the world, is better trust in university industry partnership, right? These days, industries don't quite trust what we're doing, all right? Industries don't quite trust what we are doing. So let's get hands-on a little bit. Let's see, the dashboard. No, let's see what the dashboard looks like for the Vice Chancellor. Constant, please, the dashboard. Yeah, so for the Vice Chancellor, this is what he gets to see. Next. We'll have a live version of this. These are just screenshots, but I'll show us a live version in a bit. This is for the Dean, the College of Engineering as an example. Just to see a huge amount of insights for heads of departments. And then for the advisor as well, that's what he gets to see. And for lecturers, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, and our students, exactly. So a lot of insights going on there. So let's get a little bit hands-on. I will just share my screen in a bit. Okay. Please let me know when you can see my screen. Let me have your reactions in the chat.
Yes, please. We can see your screen.
Who to go? Who are those in the chat? Let me see if I can call on anyone. Yay. Chinwe. Hey. Chinwe, peace. Okay, there you go. Please unmute yourself. Happy to have you here.
Hi, Yada. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you too?
Yeah, great. Well done.
Excellent, thank you. So the version I'm showing us here right now is the free version. Anyone can get on this, without any requirements, all right? So here we have the job readiness tracker, we have the curricular intelligence, we have analysis history, Ribara assessment, the feeds and what's not. But let's start with the job readiness tracker. Okay, these actually belongs to individual students. And like I mentioned earlier, they can track by role, by existing skill sets and the likes. So when they get here, if they don't know what skills or job they want to get into, they can click on this. But if they already know, then they can use this one. But let's assume that I don't know, what role I even want to fill in, okay? So, Dr. Peace, please, which department did you graduate from?
Computer science.
Not you of today, you of... you of
computer science and engineering, computer science.
Okay, should we do computer engineering or computer science? Which of them?
Any of them.
Okay, so let's stick with computer engineering. Okay, so which of these roles look like what you were aspiring to get into back then? Please, whatever result she gets today is not her of today. Let's get that straight, okay? Which of this?
Scroll down.
Web developer, system analyst, quantum computing, network engineer.
System analyst.
Okay, system analyst, all right. So first, what the system does is to first show you the skills that you need to get into these job roles. So like I mentioned before, there are two ways of assessing you. There is the subjective one, which is you telling yourself the truth. And there is the objective one. We don't need your truth. You just need to respond to the questions. And these are case-based questions. They are scenario-based questions, all right? And we can quickly tell where your proficiency lies as a student. So first, it's telling Dr. Peace, when she graduated, that she would need the following hard skills, the following soft skills: system analysis, data management, program languages, network architecture. For soft skills, communications, teamwork. And here's the thing, our system updates continually. So as the industry is changing, the system is updating. So, I mean, a student could come here, 3 months ago. In another 3 months, he or she is seeing a new skill set that is emerging because, of course, we're tracking the labor market, all right? And so with this, the system now calls you to do a self-evaluation. So what this means, you would look here and you will see the various ways you should grade yourself. You should grade yourself basic if you simply have only, invested 20 to 72 hours into this skill set, into each skill set. All right. And when I say 20 to 72 hours, I'm not saying, oh, you've been in university for 1 year. You could be in university for 1 year. And in that 1 year, you haven't actually put in 30 minutes on that skill set. So at that point, the system classifies you as basic. And beyond that, you've actually also not utilized that skill in performing any task within the required job roles, all right? And then intermediate, you've actually committed 72 to 240 hours. For advanced, you've done 240 to 760 hours. And then for expert, you've done over 760 hours, but beyond that, you actually have solutions in the market, services, products that you've actually used this skill set to produce. Meanwhile, at the advanced level, you have used this skill set to work in teams, to solve problems, to perform tasks. And at the intermediate level, you've actually gone beyond just knowing the basic concepts. You've actually, now understand the complexities, and you can manipulate a few things here and there. So Dr. Peace, let's do a quick analysis here. Back then when you were in school, how would you rate yourself in terms of systems analysis? Basic, intermediate, advanced, or expert?
Basic.
Basic. Database management?
Basic.
Program languages?
Basic also.
Okay, should you just tell me everything is basic so I can click it for you, yeah?
No. Teamwork is not basic.
Okay, that's soft skills, right? Yeah.
Okay.
But for the hard skills,
Yeah, they're all basic.
okay, fantastic. I think that would just help us with a bit of time. Quality assurance, basic, and it could be none as well. I mean, it doesn't have none, eh?
Yes, none.
Okay, so problem solving,
None.
okay, analytical skills,
None.
okay, communication,
Intermediate.
intermediate, yes, teamwork,
Intermediate.
okay, adaptability,
Advanced.
advanced, creativity,
Intermediate.
intermediate, attention to detail,
Basic.
basic, time management,
Basic.
critical thinking.
Maybe intermediate.
So these are all the skill sets that she would need, decision making.
Basic.
Basic. Okay, let's see. So at that level, she ought to have also started pursuing 1, 2, or 3 of these certifications. Were you pursuing any of this at that time?
No.
Okie
No.
All right. And then for tools and software, what did you have a hang of any of this at the time? These are like real-time industry requirements. If Dr. Peace was supposed to get into a job and be one of the cutting edge, the ones that will be selected before any other, these are the things they're asking from her, for the role she selected. And she has none as at that time, but I know she's proficient in many right now. So immediately the system can quickly give you can see she's all red. And this trend is not uncommon. So we see a lot of strength with soft skills amongst our African, students. I think it's coming from family, from, communication skills, teamwork. I don't know whether it's coming from the campus, but there's a huge, strength in terms of soft skills. So you can see that Dr. Peace needs to do a lot of work. And then the system also gives more insight on this. And like I said, this version is free for them to explore, just to get a quick sense, all right? All right, and then you can see that this is all required. She's missing nearly all of them. For her soft skills as well. For the tools, you see them beeping in red. You need to begin to do something about this. This is an individual measuring. This is not even the institution at all. So maybe I'll just go quickly to the institution. And like I said before, there are over 80,000 roles cut across 163 sub-industries, cut across all sorts of programs. And if I will show us again the programs listed here, you will see that it's all accounting, adult, advertising, aerospace engineering, agriculture, anatomy, animal science, animation, archaeology, architecture, banking, biochemistry, broadcasting, building technology, civil engineering, computer science, data scientists, electrical engineering. The list goes on. Medicine, industrial maths, journalism, just name it. Okay. So let's see the curriculum intelligence. This is like a quick demo of the kind of insight an institution will get if they decide to get onboarded on the enterprise version. Please, the results I'm showing here is not by any means Ashesi's, but I'm just going to use Ashesi as an example. The curriculum I'm uploading here doesn't belong to Ashesi by any means, but just as an example. So let's say marketing or even digital marketing. Department of Digital Marketing wants to see how well it's preparing its graduates for the job market. And so it uploads its full curriculum and then asks the system to run the analysis. The insightful thing about this is that when you see the results, it's actually a plain truth staring you in the face and you deciding how exactly you want to help your students. So what the system is quickly telling this institution, not Ashesi by any means, this is for demo reasons, is that students who complete this curriculum from 100 level to final year, if they were to aspire or apply to a job role called affiliate marketing manager, the curriculum is only preparing them 25%, of what is required. For content specialists, 17%, content strategists, 20%, conversion rate specialists, 18%. And these are the 21st century requirements for persons who actually want to fill in this role. How much more can we really do for our students? Let's see again. For mechanical engineering, if we decide, this time I'll just use Covenant. Again, this data doesn't belong to Covenant, but just to show us again that even the free version offers you some insights that you can help yourself with, right? So again, it tells us the roles that, persons graduating from that, if they were to use the curriculum I just uploaded, and trust me, this is a real curriculum of an institution, but I'm not allowed to tell you what institution, all right? This is how ready their students will be when they graduate. And yet the students attend classes morning till night. First year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. I don't think that's good service to our students. I don't think that's good service to our students. So let me go to the life side, the life enterprise side. If you're onboarded to the life site, this is exactly what anybody logging in, your student, your faculty, once they log in, they get an institutional readiness snapshot of what the entire institution looks like, the employability alignment, your core strengths as an institution, your risks as an institution. These are the insights you get. And then, of course, it gives you details like 42% of courses align with high demand roles, but only 18% develop applied, tool proficiency. Just to also let us know, this data doesn't belong to any institution. So you don't say, oh, wow, is this what this institution is all about? No. It's just also to show you when you're onboarded to the enterprise version, what you're going to get, okay? You see your active students, the skills we're tracking, the number of colleges you have, and then of course, every user, depending on who the admin assigns to what, gets access to any of this. The vice chancellor, the dean, the heads of department, the lecturers, the academic advisor, the students on your campus, and then the university administrator, okay? A quick look into this, because I know we're almost out of time, and then we can take questions, is when the vice chancellor clicks into his experience, this is what he sees. He's able to see that overall readiness institution-wide is at 84% and is up by 12% this year versus last year. Why? Because faculty members have been intentional in improving the course content of what they're teaching to their students, all right? And then you can see this as well, the skill coverage, and the system also kind of predicts the placement rate of your students for a particular cohort, the cohort graduating that year, giving the preparedness they have. This is the predicted placement, all right? And then if he wants to view the breakdown by colleges, he can actually click into this to begin to see more. So he can go into departments, he can actually go into specific semesters, he can go into specific colleges if he wants, and then he's able to look through and read the data intelligently to make those decisions that he has to make. Make budget requests, make requests for more faculty to the board, make requests for more, hands-on equipment to the board, and these are data informed, not just, okay, we need more faculty. Why? You don't know, because the faculty you have don't have the proficiencies. Or you need more equipment in the lab. Why? You don't know. But with this, you have data informing those decisions as the vice chancellor. And then you can look at the skill health of the institution, right? Which skills are your strengths, which ones are your weaknesses, which ones do you need to work on? And this is for the vice chancellor. He can also take a look at the proficiency distribution curve of the entire institution, and then of course the curricular intelligence mapping. This is the insight that the vice chancellor gets, all right? I'll just take one more persona because of our time. I'll take maybe the academic advisor, because this is at the cohort level. The academic advisor here is able to look through a full cohort. He's actually managing about 240 students, and you can see the average readiness, the career alignment. He knows that within his cohort, there are data analysts, there are software engineers, there are product managers, and in terms of readiness, this is how well they perform. He or she can actually flag this to the HOD to say, we need to do something about this. He or she can see the role gap analysis, the skill radar analysis, and of course, the proficiency level analysis distribution, and is able to make recommended and informed decisions to the head of department, who then can, take the necessary action as the institution allows. I'll stop sharing at this time and allow us to get back into our closing. So With Ribara, what you can see is actually career risks before students encounter them. It's a promise. You actually see the career risk per level, 100, 200, 300, 400, and you are able to make informed decisions. You're able to make presentations and demands on your board of regents or the board managing your budget or whatever, because this is informed by data. And if these students have come to us to be trained, I think it's our responsibility, to ensure that they are properly trained. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. I'm happy to take questions right now. Thank you. Over to you, Ajwa, or Marilyn, as the case may be. Pardon me, Vivian. So it's very overwhelming and provocative in a good way. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you all.
Thank you, Dr. Ada. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely. Dr. Marilyn, you want to share your experience? I know there's an experience you wanted to share if you had introduced this session. Thank you. Go ahead.
No worries. But we'll just pick it up from where we are, because I believe that we have a lot of questions from the audience. Yes, we are grateful that you're able to join in and to listen in, and just seeing the reactions. There is a lot that can be said. We know truly, Dr. Ada, as you mentioned, that the world of work is evolving. We know clearly that digital transformation, emerging job roles, and employee expectations are shifting. That is for sure. And what you have presented is one powerful digital infrastructure that can help us move towards homegrown innovation, as you have done, and leading us towards evidence-based strategic management for institutions, and to shift us to better career development. So thank you so much, because we are interested in improved career outcomes, and we pray that we can onboard this. So we are going to take reactions from you. We're going to open the floor for questions, comments, and reflections. And there are some that have already come in through the chat. We'll start with Yo, who is saying that, how adaptive is your system to country or regional specific market demands and requirements? Maybe you can take that.
Yes, I can take that. So that's why Ribara is a multi-tenant architecture, right? It is not limited to a particular country. It's not limited to Nigeria. It's not even limited to Kenya. It's not limited to Ghana. It's not limited to Botswana. It's not limited to South Africa. The moment you plug in the data, so when an institution is onboarded, it has the option of selecting whether it wants to be assessed using a global data or the country-specific data, or both of them. So for example, if a chassis, or let's say a Covenant, so Covenant decides to look at both the Nigerian markets, the Nigerian labor market. So the system can switch between the Nigerian labor market versus the global data. So what I'm saying is that for Kenya, for example, we have our hands on the labor market in Kenya, showing Dr. Marilyn Rono every industry in Kenya as it relates to her institution. But again, when the institution also wants to say, well, because our students don't only stay within Kenya, some of them migrate to other countries, we also want to have insights into a universal data. That's also a different package. So you can then work with that global data, not just your country data. So it's not restricted to US or to Nigeria or to Ghana or to Embo. I hope that helps. Thank you. So again, someone is asking, does the Ribara allow free access or require subscription? So the version I demoed is free, but the one I onboarded with a different persona, the blue version, the white version is free. Like the Toronto will say, the blue version is where the meat is, right? The white version is free, but for the blue version, it's based on subscription. And as you can see on your screen right now, an institution will have to express interest first. If you help us, Ajwa and comms team, please drop it in the chat, the link right there. If your institution is interested in the subscription version, then we can have a one-on-one conversation with you. Back to you, Marilyn, please. Thank you.
All right, another question from the floor, from the chat, was whether it's effective for students majoring in education. That one was specific education.
Yes, please. It is. It is. It is.
Okay.
If you go to the free version, you'll see that education is highlighted there. Even the enterprise version also, it's also highlighted there.
All right. Anyone else? Any raised hand from Natasha? There's a raised hand from
Hi,
Natasha.
Dr. Marilyn.
Hi,
There's a
hi.
question from Timothy,
Yes.
Florence,
Okay.
and Ronnie.
All right. So I don't know whether Natasha can take it up. Then I'll read the one for Timothy.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Rono. Thank you, Dr. Peter, as well, for the very elaborate presentation. This is indeed such a powerful platform. My name is Natasha from Careers and Employability Office at Cavendish University, Uganda. And I wanted to ask regarding, because I can see all the insights are mostly generated based on how the students feed in their data. And so I wanted to find out, how do you ensure that all students in a particular cohort, and at what time do you ensure that they engage with the platform and enter their data so that you're able to get a holistic output on what the insight for a particular cohort should be? Thank you.
Excellent. That's an excellent question. So at the onboarding level, we onboard everyone, whether you're at 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. And here's the other thing. Maybe in 100 level, you thought you were going to be a data analyst. The system works with that. By 200 level, you've changed. You say, no, now it's now system analyst. And then 300 level is switches. But here's the thing also, some skills are transferable, if you see what I mean. So much as you switch, roles, whether you're in 100, 200, 300 level or 400, the system adjusts to show the new realities. Okay, so the best time to have a student come on board is as soon as we onboard an institution. And onboarding means all faculty members, all students, all management staff who should have access to this system are onboarded. And then as soon as they come on board, the system prompts them on what to do. And as soon as they do that, insights begin to come. But here's the other beautiful thing. Even before we onboard all of these users, all of this persona, you get a quick insight, because first we work with the data we can get with the courses you offer and give you a quick insight into where your university stands right now. So, but as we start onboarding, the data starts changing because people start validating or invalidating what we have to say. No, this is not the course I teach has been updated. I have a new course syllabus. And so as they update, the system updates automatically. That's how it works. I hope that helps, Natasha.
Okay.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natasha. There are several coming now. I will combine about two of them. Whether you have a manual or a visual guide on how to use it, and whether students may incur any costs while using the Ribara system. So this is a student interested in using it. Will they incur any cost? Leonard from Rwanda is also asking, what are the key factors you base on while measuring readiness, which help you to measure effectively career risks? And finally, requirements to have a useful platform. What are the requirements to have this kind of platform at our universities and colleges? Maybe you can take those.
Okay. Thank you for all of these very valid questions. And I think the three I hear there is around cost.
Yeah, cost.
Yes.
And how you can onboard it, yes.
Right. So if you're interested, the first thing to do is to fill the link that you're looking at right now. Team, please help me again, Lady Chidi, help me post in the chat again. You need to express your interest and then we get started. Of course, the conversation starts with an MOU and a presentation to stakeholders at your institution. So from experience, it's important that at least the deputy vice chancellor or the vice chancellor is there, and the legal team, the finance team, your director of finance, then the deans as well, your career advisors. That initial meeting, it's very important. And so after that meeting, we can then agree on an MOU. Usually the MOU is a 3-year contract. And I think the Education Collaborative will reach out later to participate in institution, depending on what the team agrees. There might be pegs for members of the Education Collaborative. We'll let you know that, but the pegs might come in different forms. So the first point is expression of interest, and then we can get talking. However, the one I demoed with is open. You can use it. You don't have to pay for that one. But as you can already tell, that just gives you a quick insight, not any, life-changing details. All right. And then, Dr. Rono, you asked a question. Someone asked a question about what is something based on. Dr. Chinwe, you're laughing. Somebody asked a question about what is the insight. I didn't get that question clearly. I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, but I think there's one from many students. We seem to be having a number of them here. Maybe before an institution onboards the system, students want to know.
Yes, they can go on.
If they want to use it at the full version, what
yes.
will the cost attached to it? Or maybe they can side chat you.
No, so no. So if they want to use the free version, right, without the objective assessment, they can do a self-assessment, and that is free. All they have to do is go to platform.ribara.co, sign up, set up an account, then navigate. That's it. It's free. That one is free. But it doesn't quite provide any insight, doesn't help the institution make any changes, but it's free. At least when institutions are taking time because of our bureaucracies, individuals can take their own lives into their own hands to see what they can do.
Yes, true. I believe that's it, Adwa, unless there's any other question, Adwa, that I've missed.
Okay.
Or the manual or visual guide. Someone is asking whether there is a manual or guide.
Or visual guide.
Sorry. Or visual guide to using Ribara. Yes.
Yes,
sorry,
please. As soon as you're on board the enterprise version, you'll definitely get a manual guide to lead you, more like a video guide on what to do next as per each persona, right? But for the free version, you just need to go on our landing page and it will guide you on how to use it. Okay. Thank you, Florence.
All right. Am I locking anyone out? Any raised hand that probably we have not?
There was a question somebody asked, and I'm not sure I answered it. It's on.
Yes.
It was asking something about what is the proficiency based. Please, I know you know the question. If you're here, please unmute yourself.
Okay.
And ask the question. You actually read it out before, Dr. Marilyn.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't get the question.
It was not quite clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. Could you perhaps rewrite the question if you're unable to unmute? And we would like to clarify that if we could be waiting. And okay, it's not coming in. Maybe it will come in later.
Okay.
Yes. Otherwise, I believe you also have very good comments coming ahead. One is asking whether it will be available for high schools to help them plan ahead instead of waiting to join campus. Could preparation start in high school? This is a very nice one, Vivian.
Oh, high school. Oh, wow.
Yes, high school.
Well, I think at the high school, it will only be students who can use it because the curriculum intelligence, I don't think it will work with the level, the curriculum at that level, let's put it that way. But, secondary school students in SS1, SS2, SS3 can actually log into the free version and quickly see, oh, I'm aspiring to be a doctor. What do I need? What do I want? And then start learning on their own. Yes. So it's applicable that way. Thank you so much.
All right. I believe you answered her second part of the question, that it has access to Tanzania or East African University. Did you address that?
No, please. Please, what's the question?
Whether Ribara has access to Tanzania or East African University.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah, it's as long as you're in Africa. I think the only restriction right now will be language, but that's not a problem. If we see a lot of traction from our French brothers, then the system will work on a French translation to deal with the labor market in those countries. Well, as long as you're an English-speaking country, you're good to go.
Wonderful. I think that's it. I'm not seeing any other question or feedback at this point. And
Okay.
thank you so much, Dr. Ada, one of our own with this beautiful homegrown innovation. And I believe that you'll get many inquiries from many institutions, and we
Yes.
really need these solutions for us. Thank you
Dr.
so much,
Rana,
and wish you the best. Yes,
so sorry
Adwa.
to interrupt. We just got one more question
Okay.
from Yab. He says, who is defining the skills used in the assessment? Is a student selection of in the intermediate same as the next student? So I think he's asking, if I select intermediate, is that definition the same for maybe Ada, who also selects intermediate, or is it a different assessment level, if that makes sense?
Okay, let me look at the question.
I believe this is more the tech component of it.
Yeah.
How did you define the skills used in the assessments? And if the proficiency of a student is intermediate, is it the same as that of another student? Will intermediate be defined the same? Yes.
Okay, so let's break it down a little bit. So the one I shared with you right now is a self-assessment, right? And for that self-assessment is you telling yourself, this is where I am. For someone who's asking, who's defining the skills used in the assessment. So we are not the ones defining the skills used in the assessment. The industry is defining the skills used in the assessment. All right. The data, the huge data we're working with, presents us with those skill sets. I'll give you an example. So if I want to get into a job role, called process engineering, all right, within that role, across, depending on your country anyways, it depends. But within that role, there are demands for the skills I need to bring in, the hard skills, the soft skills, the tools, the certifications they anticipate me to come with. So we're not the ones defining the skill set. Now, for each of those skill sets, remember that the fact that you know about the piano doesn't mean you know how to play the piano. In fact, many of us here, growing up, we know the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. That's some level of proficiency, right? But that will not qualify you to play at the Grammys. Playing at the Grammys, yeah, thank you, yo. Playing at the Grammys requires a level of proficiency, and there are demands for that. Okay, so the assessment is based on these levels of proficiency. Okay, so when we assess you for a skill, we're assessing you based on the proficiency required for that job role, and then we see where to place you, whether you're intermediate, whether you're basic, whether you're advanced, and these are case based. They are not OBJ questions where you're ticking yes or no, no or yes. They're actually case-based. So we're presenting you with, oh, your supervisor told you to do this and this and that, but then you show your skill sets. You show it. How would you respond? All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope that answers both questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
right, Dr. Ada. Just to clarify, they are asking that, for example, let's say if I, Ajwa, am on the infrastructure,
Yes.
and then I choose, say, intermediate for creativity. Does Angela in Cavendish University, Uganda, when she also picks intermediate for creativity, is that intermediate measured across the same level?
No. So
Or
here's
what
the
does
thing. I get your question now. So at the subjective level, it's intermediate is intermediate. But when you get to the objective questioning, there are intricacies in between that determines whether we place you at intermediate level proficiency of creativity or not. So it depends on how you respond to the task before you. But the task you're going to face, Ajwa, is not the same task the person in Botswana will face, right? Because the markets are different, the demands are different. You see what I mean? So it's not for the objective assessment, no. But for the subjective, yes. When you select intermediate, it's intermediate anyways, because it's not against any, I would say, peculiarities within your country per se, or peculiarities within a particular zone. Does that help?
Yes, please. Thank you, Dr. Ada.
Okay. More questions have come up. Do we have time, Adwa?
We'll just take one more, Dr. Rono. We will
Okay.
just take one more, please.
All right, all right. There's a newly inaugurated CEO of a small organization, Sadiq, and he's asking Prof. Ada that his work is heavy on leadership development, applying adaptive leadership, and how will this infrastructure be useful? And they say, how will this be of great use to us in training? I don't know whether this is a compliment or it's a question. Maybe you could think at that. And if students are changing careers, is the system able, is it a safe method? Can this factor be considered if one wants to change careers? I
Yeah,
think I can leave
I
it
think
at
I've
that.
mentioned
I
that.
don't know whether Sadiq, whether this was a question. Maybe you can clarify that, but you can speak in general as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So I mentioned, I already hinted earlier that when your students change their aspirations, let's say 100 level, they came in and, yay, I want to be a doctor. And next, no, and I want to be a pharmacist. Okay, no, and I want to, as they change their role on the system adapts and recalibrates, the outcome for that department, okay, to see how exactly it's meeting up. Now, for the newly inaugurated CEO of a small organization, I think it would be right for you to, express your interest using the form. But yes, when we understand the training you're offering, then we can guide you accordingly, the kind of training you offer. All right, then we can tell you if the system will be useful in helping you keep your training content up to date. Okay.
Great.
Thank
I think
you.
for those who have joined late, maybe the recording will be shared later on because I think we're at the tail end of this. And we appreciate everyone. And thank you, Dr. Ada, for this amazing presentation. Over to you, Adwa, and you can bring this to a close. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ada. Thank you, Dr. Rono. And thank you all for your attention today. Thank you for sharing and thank you for all your participation this afternoon. So I'll just share a few announcements that we have from the Education Collaborative. And our major next event is our West Africa Hub convening, which would happen in Lomé, Togo from March 25th to March 27th, 2026. So in just under 2 months, we would all convene in Lomé, Togo, and the theme is Student First, Rethinking Support Systems, Campus Life, and Academic Success in African Higher Education Institutions. So kindly, that's a link to register if you'd like to join us in Togo, and we hope to see as many of you that can. I'll kindly ask that we turn on our cameras so we can take a picture to commemorate the session this afternoon. Thank you all. Dr. Ada, once I get any more questions, I will just share with you privately and then we can reach out. Thank you. It's great to see all the faces. So I would count us down. Maybe we'll take about 2 or 3, just so I'm able to capture everybody. So 3, 2, 1, let's get some smiles. Lovely, lovely. Let's do that one more time so I can get the next slide of participants. Right, so I'll count us down one more time. 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you all very much. And yes, we would share the session recording and slides with Dr. Ada's permission so that you can always refer. And if you need to reach out, you are more than welcome to do that. Thank you all once again for joining us for today's Community of Practice session. Thank you to Dr. Peter and thank you to Dr. Rono. We really appreciate your time. And thank you all to our lovely members. And I hope you have a great rest of the week and weekend ahead. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
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 Uche is an IT professional who faces a dilemma when a colleague expects her to cover up for his remote work, which is against company policy. Work in the office is piling up, and Uche feels uneasy lying by omission in online meetings. Uche knows what she thinks is right, but how can she get it done? What should Uche say and to whom? What information does she need to gather? How should she frame her position to appeal to her audience? What objections and pushbacks can she anticipate? And how might she react to them persuasively?
Welcome to Giving Voice to Value Africa. Raise your hand if you ever felt the need to speak up but were afraid of what it meant to do so. Creating awareness of ethics without addressing how to speak up or act is inspirational but not enabling. Many values conflicts in the workplace are predictable, yet people don't feel empowered to act, they rationalize not speaking up, or simply are unsure of what to do in order to be effective.
The GVV Africa course brings together the Giving Voice to Values framework with real examples of values conflicts and creative and effective solutions shared by leaders, managers, and young professionals in Africa. The course is highly engaging and includes opportunities to reflect, connect and share with others, receive feedback, and participate in synchronous case facilitation sessions that help you build your moral muscle memory using scripting and role play. So far, GVV Africa has helped over 300 learners from 20 countries across the continent gain the competence and confidence to make that choice. Champion values-based leadership. GVV Africa.